Yeah, I believe I left off where Black Panther, um, the
Positive things.
conversations.
We talking about
Yeah,
positive
positive.
images.
Yeah, like we know the stories have been retold and retold and retold. We know them personally. We hear them. And here's another thing: we hear these same slavery stories in school, like in the education system. There's no way that we can escape it unless we amongst ourselves change it. If we change the narrative on how people think of us, that's the only way that it would change. Move.
I think
That's
there's
the
an
only.
echo. One of y'all maybe need to mute if y'all are in the same house. I think
I ain't
you're
with none of
echoing on
y'all.
her phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody want to add to what Ricardo just said?
I mean, I think everything as far as like being black in America, I feel like it's just so many years of like systemic racism. And I feel it just goes back to the mindset. Like you see things like going back to like that black exploitation era where everything you saw on TV was like pimps and hoes. So you see black people want to be pimps and hoes, and then moving forward like into the 90s, everything is like some type of gangbanger drug dealer type stuff, and so that's what black people aspire to. And going back to like the Black Panther and just seeing movies like displaying black people in positive like uh just displaying them positively, I'll say, I think that's something that we do. And I agree with Ricardo, like we need to stop spending our money uh, basically just to tear ourselves down. Invest in things that are more positive for us and for the community. I mean, everyone is saying that they're woke and all that, which is great. And I think like having this conversation and seeing positive images of ourselves, that's how we move the conversation forward, especially just as black people, whether you're black African, black American, uh, kind of seeing that we're all the same. We all struggle. The struggles may be different, but I mean, this is gonna sound funny, but I mean, we're all on the same boat, so to speak. So,
I like that. I like
yeah,
that. I like that.
yeah. Uh, and I mean, just being open minded. I think just being like ignorant and things like that, that's what causes a divide. If you're more open minded to like different cultures or hearing different people's ideas and opinions, not necessarily getting like angry or upset if they differ or something like that, I think that's how we can go ahead and move forward.
And one thing I would like to pose here as a question to everyone is, what do you think the resolution is, or what are the first steps to resolving this divide amongst ourselves?
I think the first steps are being taken are just not being broadcasted like that. I'm seeing a lot of, for me personally, I've seen a lot of, for example, you, Ricardo, Americans and Africans getting together and getting married and sharing the culture. To me, that's a big deal. That is a bit like the last few weddings I've gone to, same thing. American, man, African. Sharing the culture, everybody's joyous and having fun at the occasion, at the wedding and whatnot. Really fun. I think it's getting a little bit better. We don't see it because it ain't on TV, because all we know is what we see on TV these days. But it is starting to happen. But I think, like Estelle said, we have to continue. I think a lot of it is dying with the older generations, because the older generations, they can't be saved. They can't. They're stuck in their ways. They will not change how they think. I think this next generation is coming through, and we don't have that we don't have that, man,
Chip
Africans
on our
think,
shoulder.
or man, Americans is lazy. A lot of the younger generation, Africans and African Americans, they're not really thinking like that anymore. So I think it's happening, and I think it's going to get better. It's just how do we accelerate the process? That's what I would like to know. But I think it is happening. But what are some other ways that we can possibly accelerate the process?
I
Besides, I
mean,
think having the conversation too is another thing. Like this conversation, like I said at the beginning, is uncomfortable, but it got to be had. In order for change to be made, you got to be uncomfortable first.
to answer like Ricardo's question, I think it all goes back to being open minded. Uh, not necessarily, I mean, how do I want to put this? Being open minded in a way like immerse yourself or try to learn about somebody else's culture. Don't just assume like people in Africa live out in villages and hunt zebras and all that nonsense. Uh, just really just ask them, because I've had some African friends, and the way they grow up in Africa is actually a lot nicer than what you have here in the United States. So don't just assume that everyone in Africa is just walking around broke or something like that. And I mean, a way you can do that, I don't want to hear any jokes later, but like through food, through like music, trying different cultures food, different cultures food, like African food. I love it. You like
We know.
through music, like you see a lot of things now, like you have artists like Drake collabing with like Wizkid, like from Nigeria and things like that, and people digging it. And I mean, and he's like a African artist. So I feel like it's just like a coming together, a blending of the cultures, and being open minded to it. I think that's how we can start to move forward. And I think like younger people like us, I think we're doing it more than people before us did.
I
Because I
think it's
think
time. Well, it's time for people that say they represent our culture, represent the people, to stand up for it. If they see that it's a monkey see, monkey do culture, then they should, like as we are now, start putting it to the forefront, start making it important. I think we have enough resources now in 2018. We have enough African Americans with enough money. We have more than enough resources to become our own, to rebuild Black Wall Street, so to speak. So I think it's not so much as the little people making the steps and being, if we're going to do it quickly, it has to be a mental culture change. And the only ones that can do that are the people creating and pushing the culture. The Jay-Z's, the Beyonce's, the Oprah's, the even Barack Obama himself. The people who've reached and succeeded beyond the skin tone should now be able to reach back and help the other ones.
I mean, to a certain extent, I feel like they do. I think it's the people that aren't those type of big names. I mean, it takes each of us like individually. Like it's all about your own personal mindset. Like, do you want to move forward? Do you want to do something better, not only just for yourself, but for your community, for your family, and all of that stuff? I think everybody just has to make their own personal decision. Like, am I gonna do better? Or am I gonna stay, with the status quo, keep things the way they are? I think it's just an individual choice.
And I think just to kind of piggyback off of that, I think we have to be vulnerable enough to like ask questions and not be too proud to say we don't know how to implement, some of these things if we don't know how, because conversation is good, but if you don't understand how to apply it into your day-to-day life, like what does it mean to build a Black Wall Street? How do I make better decisions with my money so that I can have more capacity to help my community or the next generation, or because because they had the money to create a film like that, they were able to bring this type of storyline to our community. So and that's capacity. So I think starting from, I definitely agree with you in the sense that we can make a difference. Just, I know it sounds very cliche, we can make a difference though, but by being as strong as we can individually. Is that me? Okay. As strong as we can individually, learning more. I don't take it for granted that I have an opportunity with my kids. I mean, my husband and I, we talk about legacy very often. The fact that we have an opportunity to pour into our kids a better way of understanding. I mean, they are literally African Americans coming from an African mother and a Black American father, but just how to, piecing that verbiage that help them understand what their identity encapsulate, like what is it all about, and then how to move forward with that understanding. And so I don't take for granted the fact that even in our communities, like you have nieces, if you have nieces or nephews, or if you have, whether you're married or not, whether you have kids or not, like or be kind of backing each other up too, like not just letting each other kind of fall, to the wayside when you see someone struggling with a mentality. You know what I'm saying? Like take the time to remind them, hey, there's something, there's a better way, type of thing. Reminding them of conversations and then how to implement. So definitely not disregarding our homes, like starting there within the conversation over Thanksgiving dinner or whatever, having these conversations and how to apply those things. So yeah.
Okay, so kind of adding to that too, there's something that us Africans do. There's something that just about every culture that I can think of does that the Black American culture doesn't really do. They don't really do this very much. For example, there's two things. One of them is most other cultures will try to spend money within the community first and foremost. Like their community gets the first right of refusal. Black Americans, and I used to sell jewelry in the mall, man, in Greenspoint Mall in Houston, Texas. That's one of the most hood malls you're gonna find around. And most of my customers obviously was Black, but there was a certain amount of them that they would come to me, ask me all the tough jewelry questions, and go spend money with the Arabian dude or with the Asian guy. That's one thing that we got to stop doing. If we want to make things better, that's one thing that we got to stop doing. We got to stop. So we have to start supporting each other financially. That's one thing. And another thing too is, especially in the African culture, if, let's say, for example, let's say something happened with me, I went rogue and did something real dumb, went to jail or what have you. I went and did something that'll reflect badly on the community. Number one, the community will keep quiet about it. They will try to keep it closed. Number two, you will either get shunned or something. Like the community gonna come together and give you a good talking to, like, this is unacceptable. You are a reflection of us. You cannot make us look bad. That community doesn't really do too much of that. Like, for example, a Black man, I've heard this story from many Black kids who go to college. A black dude can be in college. He will not get any money funneled to him from his people back home or whatever. His brother will go to jail. They'll put money in his books while he's in jail. Why are we supporting someone in jail before somebody who's in school trying to better himself and the family? Why is it that when one of us makes it somewhere, we try to leech off the person instead of understanding that the better this person does, the better they can take care of us? A lot of time we have that crabs in a barrel mentality. That's one thing that we gotta stop. There's just those few things right there. I feel like if we could stop doing that, things would really excel. Like if I have some kids and one of them come home talking about, Daddy, I just sold drugs. First of all, I'm gonna punch him in his nose. First of all. Second of all, we're gonna keep that in the house. He's gonna be grounded for 3 years. I don't care how old he is. Stuff like that. Like we don't need to be tolerating some of this bad stuff that reflects negative on me, well, negative on us on TV. Like all this stuff that we see in the news, you go on Bissonnette and Forum Park, somebody got shot and killed, Black man's face.
If I could chime in.
Yeah, go ahead.
So as far as what you're describing, you're talking about like the Black American community, right?
Yeah, well,
because
Africans have a level of that too, but it's not as bad.
From the outside, I'll say this, like as far as like Black Americans, I know you're talking about like culture, but like what is the Black American culture? Like what is our history? Like what is Black American history other than slavery? Like what type of traditions do Black Americans have? And like there's nothing that I personally can really point to, and if anyone would like to educate me, please do. But when I see like Africans, I mean, to me, from the outside looking in, they have like a strong like sense of like family and community. Like you throw a party, it's like a big thing. Like everybody's coming out. Even when it comes to business, I got into an accident. I went to a Nigerian lawyer. he works with a Nigerian doctor, and they work together to like do like the insurance and everything like that. Like I mean, I see it more like Africans, they'll work together to like a certain extent versus Black Americans. I mean, I don't see it. And I
That's what
feel
I'm
like
saying.
it's due to the fact that they don't really like Black Americans don't really have like culture or like tradition. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, but I feel like, I mean, that's just where I'm at with it.
No, it's not there. You're right. Like it's like everyone's trying to compete against each other. Like, okay,
Exactly.
this person has a business doing this. I'm gonna do the same business and take business from him. How about, man? Look, if I have a pharmacy, and I know if I'm a Black man and I have a pharmacy, and I know there's somebody in school who maybe they don't have a certain career path yet, I'm gonna suggest to them, hey, if you want to be a pharmacy technician, you know what I'm saying, go to school for that. I'll hire you when you graduate. I'll give you your first opportunity when you graduate. Like, Africans will do that. Black Americans, no. They don't, but for some reason, if it ain't something, even in the streets, I'm gonna just talk on the street level for real quick. If I'm a D-boy and let's say I got a cousin that's a D-boy, you're gonna try to compete with each other. They're not gonna try to work with each other like, all right, look, I got this clientele here. I'm not available right now. How about you go to them and, you know, do this or whatever. That's on a little street level. Just saying, for example, like on every level of it is like, nah, I want to compete with you. I don't want to see you do good. I'm going to take food out your kid's mouth, screw you, so you can come and ask me for help, so now I can treat you like trash. That's what I've seen. This is what I've seen with my own two eyes. This is not an exaggeration.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think we're like Black Americans are just busy like trying to outdo each other. Like, you're just trying to one up one another rather than work together. It's like I'm trying to prove that I am better than you. Uh, I mean, I think it all goes back to trying to be like
And
the white folks. Like,
it goes all the way back to slavery too. It goes
I
back
mean,
to
that goes back to slavery. Like, oh, I'm
the
in the
house
house,
nigga
you in the
versus the field
field,
nigga.
and
It's
I
the
feel like
house
that's the
nigga versus
same
the field
thing.
nigga.
That's the same thing happening now, and it's like, I mean,
It's
I
been
really
embedded.
don't have an explanation as how to break out of that because I wasn't born here. I think, I mean, my experience was different. So for me, I mean, I could look at the world. I look at the world as a whole, not just try to look beyond myself, I'll say. And I think if more people could do that or try to do that, I think we'll just progress and move forward.
I'll give you an example of what I do, and you can ask Ricardo. Ricardo will tell you I do this. I make it a point, so if I'm about to spend some money, I'm gonna try to find my own people first. Like, I'm gonna start with a Cameroonian first. If I can't find one at that level, all right, any other African to do. Can't find one at that level, all right, I'm gonna go to a Black American if I can find one. I can almost find a Black person for anything that I need, just about almost. Hopefully they can get to a point where I know some Black realtors or home builders or landscapers or something where all of my money can just go to another Black person. I think if we can start there, man, do you know how much we can run things? Look at people selling weave. Like, the Asians are selling us weave. They're selling us weave. Why are we buying it from them? They hate us. Not that they don't like us, they hate us. Why are we putting Amy Sue in college instead of DeMarcus?
I think it all goes back. I think it all goes back to the mindset. You see somebody Black selling something, you don't you immediately have a distrust for it. Like, this ain't legit. Like, something wrong with it. It's probably not as good quality
and I get it.
as the white man.
Personally, I don't care if it's legit or not. You Black, I like your product, come get this money.
It's also a little deeper than that though.
Talk
As
to
to
me.
why we buy from the Asians, because they've cornered the market, because that's their plug.
This is true, and it's the same thing in jewelry too. Because if I try to go to the tower,
if we all put our money together tomorrow to buy a beauty supply, we won't last a month in the business.
No. Yeah, we will if the Black people see it and they're like, I'm gonna spend my money
get our
here.
supplies?
No. You're right. But guess what though? if we just get a little bit, we can bring attention to that. Man, we're in the age of social media. If we can prove, hey, we're trying to get these supplies and they're refusing to sell it to us. They don't want that on TV. Asians don't want to be on TV for nothing bad. I'll tell you right now. They don't.
And how loud would our voice get past the one camera that we use to record it?
That's fine. That's why we got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Man, look.
That's gonna last longer than the 30 days that we have money to run our business.
Now,
it's broken now.
This is true. What you're saying is very true. But let me tell you what Africans do. Africans, let me give you an example of something that Africans do. And Mercy, can
I say one thing? Like Brandon, that mindset, I feel like that's the issue. You down in the plan before it even get off the ground.
No, like, I'm not downing it.
Not necessarily downing, but I feel like black folks, even before you try something, like, oh man, that's not gonna work. Yeah, so it's like you just give up.
And that's what I'm saying. We do
everything down. Let me say everything I was trying to say. Let me break it.
Go ahead.
Okay, so an Asian man is getting his supply truck, let's say, for $3,000. Probably like maybe $7 for a pack of hair. I'm just guessing. I don't know how much hair costs.
Yeah, that's fine. We understand.
He's paying $7 per pack because his connect is the same skin color as him, has the same background as him, has the same tradition. If he has that connection, we're now paying, if we get into the business, we're paying $12 for the $7 pack of hair that he is. That's what I'm saying. They're going to give it to you, of course, but you're not going to have the same success as the Asian man. You're never going to be as big until you make your own foundation.
That's a very good point. I hate to cut you off. That's a very good point. But at the same time, nobody start at the top. If you start at the top, you ain't got nowhere to go. You got to start from somewhere. Like, everything has a start. Man, when I graduated school, I wasn't making the money I'm making now.
Right.
I understood that. Man, look, I had to. And another thing, to add to what you kind of saying, kind of, sort of. All right. So I moved to Dallas because I had a job promotion. You know who gave me the job promotion? Another black man.
Right.
A lot of times we work at places for people who look nothing like us. Probably don't even like us in the first place. But they just hired us because we needed somebody to fill a spot. Okay, we're gonna hire this guy. I ain't got no other options. Then you go there, you impress him. My supervisor was black. What did he do? Put in a good word for me to get this position. I wouldn't have made it here without something like that. Like, a lot of times we don't strive far enough to be in that kind of position to where our word holds some weight to progress another black person. And now, I'm not saying that he pushed me through because I'm black. I don't know. But I know it didn't hurt. Yeah. That's what I do know. Because I know if I'm going to Bob's, if I go to Bob's grocery store and he got a manager position open, I walk in, I got slightly better credentials than somebody else that looked like him. Who you think he's more comfortable hiring? Somebody like him.
Yeah.
A lot of it comes back to us supporting ourselves first. Can we give ourselves the first right of refusal? And when we do that, when we do get that opportunity from someone that look like us, let's not try to lowball them. So if I start a business now and I'm saying, okay, I'm selling these shirts for $20 a pop. I'm an upstart. I'm selling these shirts $20 a pop. I'm probably already not even making a bunch of profit. But you talking about, man, let me get that shirt free. Or let me get that shirt for $5. Man, you out your mind. Come on, man. That's the kind of stuff that we gotta quit doing.
I think it all goes right. I think it all goes back to the fact that, I mean, we all in the same boat, and I think we just need to work on uplifting one another first of all, and just breaking the mindset that like blackness is like a bad thing or something like that. Like, they're having that chip on your shoulder, basically.
Man, a lot of us sometimes are actually just born with that. Like, I think that's genetic, to be honest. I honestly feel like that's genetic.
You gotta get out of that. You gotta get out of that.
You're not alone. I'm really bad about that, as you can see. I'm really bad about that. I'm really holding back. I didn't even curse one time, and that's abnormal.
I think Mercy has something.
No, I was gonna just speak to the point about you and the opportunity you got from another black I think manager, director. My assumption, just knowing the little I know about you, I assume that there is something about your work, your skill set, and your expertise also that stands out. And I just want to highlight that. I would say for each of us to concentrate or use that to be at our best, basically, in anything that we do, so that when we connect with one another, there's more trust because we see the excellence in each other, in our occupations, in whatever we do, and we can connect and build from there. If we become our own strong foundations in different industries and things of that nature, and our work will speak for us. And then I think that's where the trust in it is, that there's quality. Normally we see maybe a Caucasian, or in the past it was a Caucasian, or if you're saying Chinese, like whatever quality, or that you can get the items that you want at the price or whatever like that. I think we can kind of cut out that mentality if our experiences are better with one another. And I think what Brandon, I believe, was speaking to was maybe he had a bad experience, or had several experiences where if something is started, it never works out because of whatever the case may be from his experience. So we can have better experiences if we start from ourselves, building our capacity intellectually, or whatever the case may be. So when we work together, we see the results that we can actually be proud of and continue to grow from there, type of thing. So, and holding each other accountable, not letting somebody slack off, I think is another implementable idea. Like if you know someone that is I don't know, in any occupation, continue to encourage them to be at their best. I know Ricardo, and the way I've seen Ricardo and Scott kind of communicate with each other, integrate over the years. Like I don't remember, was it back when I think it was when you Scott, remind me. I remember meeting you when you were I think Ricardo was helping you with your resume or something like that. Back then you had like braids and
Oh
yeah, the whole nine. I remember how you looked, everything. But I mean, I remember coming home after work one day and seeing, he was helping you with your resume, and I mean, you were open to someone kind of guiding you or giving their input, type of thing. And so just being open, keeping each other accountable to be at our best in every industry, so that we can use. I think it's about also making wise decisions. I wouldn't just put my money just anywhere just because someone is Black or African. And I'm also, in my regard, I'm trying to be at my best with everything that I do, so that I don't just say, hey, you should listen to me, or you should support me, or you should do business with me just because I'm Black or African, but because I'm good, because I am, at my best or becoming my best. So that's what I would encourage each of us to do, is be at our best and be accountable, hold each other accountable to greatness.
That's kind of what I was trying to speak on. I wasn't trying to say it was a personal experience of me failing or seeing failure. It was just that I was saying that there should be a foundation planted in the industry that we're not in yet. Like I said, the industry is already, well, not that industry, I'm just saying that the Asian man, in that certain business, they stick together to where it's harder for outsiders to come in without the foundation. And I was saying that the money should be instilled in a solid foundation first. Then it's a lot more liable to be built on, because the reference to the $7 pack of hair to the $12 pack of hair that we're both getting from the same vendor, but one is the same skin color as he is, and one is not the same skin color as me. That's all I was trying to say.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I think one thing, anybody listening, one easy piece of advice I can give anybody when it comes to this kind of stuff, at the end of the day, if what you're doing is not working, you gotta do something else. So I think a lot of times we just get stuck doing the same old crap here and there and not trying nothing different. For some reason, we're not very open-minded to trying other stuff. I think if I can summarize everything in one sentence.
Yeah, can I say one thing before you summarize?
No, that was it. Go ahead.
Oh, I just want to say, like, if we like during that last part, right, it was a lot of negative point of views. If we could change that and turn them into positive point of views, whereas, like, for instance, the hair salon or the hair business, right? They're I know of someone, his sister in Houston they're African. They have a hair where they sell weave, and it's a profitable business, and she's doing it wherever she gets it supplied from. There, to me, I don't really know the business, but there could be someone out there that is of African descent or African American that is the supplier. If we find, and it all comes down to, again, to me, the resolution to me is education. Us educating ourselves, me educating myself, you educating yourself, and us coming together saying, hey, this is what we have. This is what I've learned. This is what you've learned. Scott and I do it all the time, especially when we're like, okay, this is not enough for us. What else is it that we can do? And we do our research, and then we come back together and we say, hey, this is what I found. And he'll go, hey, this is what I found. And then we'll move on from that. For instance, like, we're both in IT, the same fields. We've looked up different certifications on how to progress in our career fields. There was a time where we studied together because we wanted to achieve the same certification. So it's about finding those people that have the same mindset as you. And as we were saying, rightfully, they're the younger generations. And I want to say this as well. We can't say the older generation is dying with them, they'll never learn, because that's the problem as well. We're disregarding those before us and not saying you got to come along with us. Even when Mercy and I were getting married, there were people that were telling her, hey, he's American, be careful for him. I don't want to hear you come back to me saying, oh, I'm single with 3 kids because my husband's left me, or he's done this or he's done that. But I laughed at it because that's not who I am. Right. So, and I refuse to go back and forth with somebody that doesn't know me. I'm just not going to do it. It's not worth my time. So it's about us individuals like this. And I don't think it takes a Jay-Z or a Beyonce or an Oprah. I think it takes individuals like us that are on the phone today that are actually achieving something for us to find a way and go back and say, hey, how can I make a change in my community? Or if it's in a church, or if it's here or there, like, how can you, to the young men and young women that come into your life, for you to change their life, change their perspective, change their narrative on who they are. It's up to, like, Estelle was saying that. I don't think it's necessarily them that need to do it. It's the quote unquote people that aren't rich and famous, the powerful ones. Because they have the resources, and to an extent they do that, but it's us that can go in there and be more effective because they actually see us day in and day out. If that makes any sense of what I'm saying.
Totally agree.
I agree. I can't figure.
Yeah, well said.
Can't think of nothing else to add to that.
Those are the closing words right there.
Should we take an offering? I don't know.
Yeah, I will be accepting donations, to my African fund. I got like 19 wives back home that I got to take care of with 3 kids apiece.
I will send you rice.
Just like an African woman. Man, give me some money.
Yeah, you're welcome. Rice will last you longer, Joe.
Hey, stop that with that rice. African moms always got some rice. Y'all don't run out of money before you run out of rice.
Man. And the people said amen. Yeah.
Amen.
Thank you.
All right, Pastor Mercy. All right. I got nothing else to say. This was a pretty good conversation. We're probably going to end up doing something like this again. Probably some different faces, probably same faces. But this is good. I think this will help the cause. Just having an open, honest conversation. I think that's going to be the name of this thing. The open conversation, the honest conversation, something like that. I'll figure it out. Mercy, you got your radio show. You want to like upload some bits and pieces or play some bits and pieces of this? Let me know. Brandon, I'm gonna send you all the pieces of this video.
Right.
So you can upload to your YouTube channel. Estelle, you got anything?
Oh no.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't have a YouTube channel. I'm just trying to be a YouTuber after this. Who knows?
Afro Vibes Radio, Mondays and Thursdays, 7 a.m.
What you say?
Afro Vibes Radio, Mondays and Thursdays at 7 a.m.
Oh yeah, that's your wife, bro. Come on, say it. Tell your wife you love her, bro. Say it.
Hey, man, didn't you just say keep everything private? Now you want us to go against it? Look at you.
Say, man, don't be talking to your daddy like that, man. Don't make me pull my African snakeskin.
You look like a daddy with that old face.
Shave your face. You want to talk about an old face? Your carpet is expired. Time to get some new carpet on your face. And your scalp expired too. Go buy a new one.
Try again.
I'm gonna send you some Gillette.
So much for being professional.
Right.
Hey, man, it's over
Where's
with.
the professionalism?
Nobody asked you, okay?
Scott talking all this trash because his beard finally connect.
So instead,
that's my one. I'm leaving. Bye.
yeah, you better run, oversized farm creature. You better run. That's why you can't fit in your little bitty car. Your seatbelt can't go all the way across your fat body. Who else wants some?
What?
Anyway, yo, like I said, though, man,
have a good night.
You say
like
what?
I said, this was really, really fun. I really enjoyed
For real.
being able to get honest reactions to my own. I appreciate it. The next time.
Cool. Hey, Mercy and Brandon, if ever y'all want me to come on your shows or whatever, let me know, man. I'm open.
Nobody wants you, old face.
Nobody asked you, old man. Go. He would.
Yeah, I definitely want to check out y'all.
That podcast.
Nah, but that's how I'm gonna start. I'm gonna try to be the change.
You want to say something? Oh, okay.
I'm gonna try to. Oh, look at him.
Tell my just have to go to
Hey,
Okay.
I'm gonna try to be the change that I want to see. I'm gonna start here.
Yes.
I'm gonna go on y'all
Good job.
shows and participate or whatever, spread some positive news, some
Old
positive
face.
vibes, man.
Sounds good. I love the feedback if y'all get a chance to listen. But good night. It was a pleasure joining in the conversation. We tend
Cool.
to these babies.
Cool.
Good night.
Y'all have good evenings.